that big one come out.
There you go. Man, that's a big one you got there.
That big one come out there.
Well, it's late in the day and the sun's getting low.
He got it.
Let him go. I sure had fun just watching him stretch my line.
There he is.
Made me a
Oh, it's two of them. I got two of them. Holy cow, look at that.
Look
Look
at
at that. One of these suckers.
Hey, Jimmy, we going fishing, boy.
Oh, my, look at that. They're both good ones, too. Bring your fish over here. Bragging about your big fish.
Oh.
There we go, girl.
I always like that, Jimmy. Hey.
Man. There's one.
There we go.
I finally started fishing that real slow, Luke.
Yeah.
It's just a little guy. We got almost too beautiful a day. You know, we asked for these kind of days. It's almost too pretty out here.
Sure.
And it's just so pretty. It was cold this morning, 35 degrees. We're out here in the springtime. I got Luke McGown with me, NFL quarterback. McGowan. I keep saying McGowan. I know, Luke, it's McGowan. I know how to spell it and everything. Yeah.
I've been called a lot worse.
I bet you have. Especially on the football field, right?
That's right. That's right. I spent 4 years in Tampa with John Gruden.
Oh, my goodness.
And he called me every name in the book. I was a young quarterback then, so he was allowed to call me all kinds of names.
He was making sure he was getting your attention,
That's right.
huh? Oh, me. I caught that fish on one of my buddy Ricky Clunn's, a little square bill crankbaits, a little RC. I think that's an RC2 or RC3 right there. I can't keep them all straight, but that's a really, really great bait. And I tell you, that's a good start. Not a giant, but a good start. Listen, you know, we'll get a little wind today because the wind just going to blow. I mean, that's just all there is to it. But it is supposed to blow out of the south. It's been blowing out of the north the last several days. Just, I mean, really blowing, really blowing. And we finally have got a little reprieve. It's going to switch around to the south, and we got just a gorgeous day. It's supposed to be about 70 degrees today. It's nice out here right now, and you see this grass down under the water. That's where the fish are. They're in that grass, and they're going to be moving up shallower. We might try them on a spinnerbait or a jig. I don't know what we're going to catch them on. Started out with a little crankbait because it is just so slick out here. I mean, it is just like dead calm. But it doesn't stay that way in the springtime. It just doesn't. And we're going to have a little wind. Not supposed to have a lot, but a little bit of wind will help. That'll be our friend. We're kind of just enjoying it right now, but it makes the bite a little harder. Ah, yeah, that's a better fish. That's what we're after there, Luke.
You caught that one on the paws, too.
The quarterback going to put a spinnerbait fisherman on a spinnerbait here in a minute. I'm throwing a crankbait, and yeah. That's the size fish we're looking for right there, buddy.
That's it.
That bend your pole a little bit more than that last one did, didn't it?
Oh, yes, good and fat. She's getting ready.
Yes, sir. Full
Get
of
up on
eggs.
beds here in a little while.
Good looking fish right there, buddy. Hang
Well,
on there,
pretty.
I'll take a picture of it real quick. I got my camera right here.
Pretty healthy fish.
We got the sun's kind of wrong. Let me move over here and I'll get the sun a little bit better for you. Closer you get, the fish will look bigger too.
That's right.
Hold him straight up and down, it's good. However way you want it, doesn't matter. It's
No,
your
that's
fish,
fine.
not mine.
Cool,
Way to go,
man.
bud.
Thank you, thank you.
All right.
Pretty
All right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking
Pretty
about.
fish.
Looking good. Another good one? Looking good.
Oh.
I need to pick up my spinnerbait, don't
Spinnerbait.
I? I think you convinced me.
Spinnerbait's the key.
White spinnerbait. In fact, I might just take that one away from you. I don't know.
Come on.
Come on and try.
That's it.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you. I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's it.
All right. All right. I couldn't. Here's one.
There you go. Oh, look at there.
That's a nice one.
Speaking of.
Oh, that one bit a spinnerbait. How about that? Yeah, I finally caught one on a spinnerbait, by golly. That's actually a jig with a skirt on it. And a blade. Ooh, looky there. That's nice, nice, very nice. That's exactly what we're looking for there. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Boy, look how fat that booger is, will you? I mean, it's got a belly on it, don't it? That's what I'm talking about. That's nice. I mean, nice. Boy, that girl's gonna make a bunch of little babies, isn't she? Very good. All right, Luke, where do I need to throw now?
I was gonna say it.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
He bent that Legend spinnerbait all around. This little spinnerbait we got, we're throwing a 1/2 ounce bait. And these baits, one of the things when I design these baits, of course I put my red eye in there like I do all baits I design. And but one of the things about a Jimmy Houston Legend bait is it's got a little bit larger blade, one size larger blade than what would normally come on a 1/2 ounce bait. Now for years I've been changing and putting larger blades on baits in order to catch big fish. You know, the bigger the blades, create a lot more flash. Even with a willow leaf, you're going to get more vibration out of it. And you got a larger blade on there. And you know, big baits, big bass. That's just all there is to it. This time of the year, when it is the time of the year that I do like to throw a willow leaf, and that big blade will catch you bigger bass. There's just absolutely no doubt about it. You still catch plenty of small bass. The little ones will still bite it, no doubt about it. But you will catch some really, really sure enough big fish on there.
This portion of Jimmy Houston Outdoors has been brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Jimmy Houston Outdoors, America's favorite fishing show, is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. By Mercury Marine, go boldly. By Soft Science, supreme comfort footwear for the angler. By Shell ROTELLA, the engine oil that works as hard as you do. And by O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
Thing out of it, there he is. Come here, little guy. Not bad. Come here, little feller. Here, little guy. Up here in this boat with me. Nothing, I've seen nothing sticking out of the mouth of any of them, Luke. Every one of them just been nothing but a spinnerbait hanging there.
That's right.
Those spinnerbaits are not very fattening, guy. You better eat something else. You're gonna grow up and be a big girl. Yeah, grow up and be a big girl. You know, these fish on these spinnerbaits seem like that if you get the bait just in sight, you're not getting a bite. If you get the bait just out of sight, that's when they're biting them. Just out of sight. Another big one.
He's pulling against
Boiling the water pretty good. He's not bad. Oh my goodness. Might be a real big one. He's boiling the water pretty good, buddy. If he's as big as
Yeah,
I think an 8-pounder got off and a 2-pounder got off.
it's something.
He was making bulls as big as that 250 horsepower Mercury.
He's pulling like he's big.
Well, did you see the size bull he was making on top of the water?
So yeah,
It's
clear
a
that
nice
water.
fish. Oh, it's a very nice fish, but golly, I thought it was about 6 or 7 pounds. Oh, good
3
fish.
pounder.
Good fish. That's a good one.
Yeah.
If we start complaining about
I
those that
won't-
size,
you
something's
won't-
wrong, isn't it?
You won't hear me complain, I promise you.
Me neither.
You won't hear
I
me
will not complain about that size. Oh, it's a crappie.
It's a crappie. You
Look
got
at
a
that
crappie on
crappie.
there.
Look at that black crappie. That's something when a crappie would bite a big old spinnerbait like that. Big old 1/2 ounce spinnerbait. Luke and I've been catching these fish on a big 1/2 ounce Jimmy Houston Legend spinnerbait, Lucky Strike. And that's the first crappie we've got. But this time of the year, you're going to catch some giant crappie like that when you're bass fishing on jigs or worms or crankbaits, everything, you know, because these big crappie, they really eat a lot of big stuff early in the year. And that crappie right there is out here in 20-some-odd foot of water. But he's in 24 foot of water. But it hit about 3 foot down is all I had that spinnerbait. You're lucky I'm not kissing the fillet there, crappie.
Mm-hmm.
These fish that we've been catching on the spinnerbait are really in deep water. I mean, we're going to catch some in some shallow water, I'm sure. But these fish are really in deep water, but they're not down deep. They're not on the bottom. Like that crappie there, that bait was still in sight, only maybe 2 or 3 foot down, running through the tops of those 24-foot trees, and he jumped up there and grabbed it. Exactly what the bass are doing too. They're getting up closer to the surface, soaking up that sunshine. Can you say sunshine 3 times real fast?
I can't. I'm more country than you.
Obviously, I can't either. Soaking up that sunshine just like Luke and I are. That is kind of a tough word to say. I figure we might get one right here off this point. Another good one?
Yeah,
They're all good, just some of them better.
That's right.
They're all good, just
They're
some of
all
them better.
good.
That's right. I know one thing. We done figured out their bait that they like, the bait of
That's
choice
right.
for the bass.
Come on back out.
It's a bait of choice for me, too, I guarantee you.
He's fighting.
He just wanted to get into the boat and get in the
He just
shade.
wanna get in the shade, doesn't he?
He fought bigger than some of them 5-6 pounders you've been catching. He'll grow up to be a big one, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's a male bass there. He probably want to get over about 5 pounds. But we'll give him a chance to get there, though. Oh, there's one. That might be bigger than that one you just caught.
Yeah, he could probably eat it.
He might. I don't know. That might have been what he's doing in there. No, he's really about the same size. Well, he sure felt bigger than that.
You got a load
I
of
think I
grass on
killed him. Look at that. I think when I set the hook, I killed him. Look, look. What? No.
Oh, there he comes.
I knocked him out.
That's
I
right.
stunned him.
Sure did.
I set the hook so hard it stunned him. He must have got down the grass a little bit or something. Oh, what happened? He pulled his skirt down on that little legend spinnerbait too. Mm. I think I'm about to run out of tails on that skirt. Get up on that little knob there.
I got me a crappie.
Big old crappie. Lay my spinnerbait down and let you catch one. Pick my jig up. He made about one throw. That's super, man. Look at the size of that crappie, man. That's not just an ordinary crappie. That's a dandy. Wow.
We could eat well with a bunch of them, couldn't we?
You could eat and feed a family in a
telling you.
hurry. Even feed your family.
Well, I'd have to have
It
a
take-
bunch to feed my family.
It'd take several of them, wouldn't it?
I'd have a bunch of them.
It'd take several of them.
Yeah.
This portion of Jimmy Houston Outdoors is brought to you by Jimmy Houston Extreme Energy. Jimmy's Look Back is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time.
In 2001, I went fishing with Keith Green. Now, Keith is the son of one of my best buddies of all time, Ricky Green, great tournament fisherman. We were after smallmouth that day, but the northern pike had a different plan for us. Oh, he's around that piling. Don't you break my line. It's a big old pike, too. Look at him. Golly, come around that. Come around that pike. I got him. Oh. Oh, we're up here at Cayuga Lake doing a pike show. That's a nice pike right
That's
there.
a good one there.
I got serious problems. I want my long A back. I'm not sure I'm going to get it back.
There another hook came out.
Oh, look at the teeth on that booger, will you? Here, baby. Here, baby. Oh, that's a pretty nice fish right there. Good lands. Somewhere, I had some needle nose. I guess they're in my tackle box here. I did bring one pair of cutters and one pair of needle nose because one of the things that happens anytime you go north, you got a chance to catch fish that have teeth. I remember the first time, Keith, I fished up in Alexander City on up at Lake Ontario and the St. Lawrence River. I caught one of these weighed about 20 pounds on a spinnerbait, and he had my spinnerbait way down his mouth. And I reached down there, his mouth was, great big. I reached way down in his mouth to get my spinnerbait. Just as I got my spinnerbait, he flopped and got away from me. And these teeth, you see how they're all pointing out that way? And he trapped my hand in there. And then he fell off of it and he raked it loose, and my hand was just like solid blood. And I had teeth. I picked teeth out of my hand for a month. They got all infected. I mean, it was just, I guess.
Jimmy's Look Back has been brought to you by Ranger Boats.
That bait wasn't very deep when he hit it. I bet I hadn't pulled it a foot under the water, just a little. This little crankbait I'm using now is a deep smoothie, or a shallow smoothie. A deep smoothie is probably one of my favorite baits. This is a little larger size. This is 3/8 ounce size. Buddy, he's hooked too. I got that smaller one on because we got a lot of grass. I'm just trying to get down right over the top of that grass with this bait. That's not a very big fish, but he'll work. This is shad color bait that I'm using. That's exactly what you want to use out here this time of the year. I've been throwing a crawfish a lot because there's no crawfish out yet. Still crawfish hadn't come out, and fish are feeding on the shad, but they ought to bite a crawfish. Kind of like if we saw a watermelon stand right now, we'd stop and buy some, even though that they wasn't grown around here. We'd still buy a watermelon. You get it? Well, I don't know. It took me 20 minutes throwing this crankbait before you got a bite. I was trying to help all I could there. Oh, that's a nice fish. Nice fish.
That's the one I missed, right?
Yeah, he hit it the time before, didn't he?
Yep.
The cast before. Good fish.
That's a little better fish.
Good fish. Good fish. Well, we've caught some nice looking fish today. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I'm going to keep on throwing this crankbait just a little bit longer so you can catch another one or two. Isn't it amazing? Of course, you know, I caught a few there, but then for a while then we just kind of run out of fish.
Yep.
So I had to get us going by picking this crankbait up.
I appreciate that.
I kind of hate, you know, I don't believe, I picked up a little bit different when I put this little shallow smoothie on. Boy, it looks about as much like a shad as anything you can put down there. Oh, there's a little,
come back and get it. Come back and get it.
Little guy. Come here, little guy. That's the smallest one caught all day, I think, right there. You want to put this on in your spinnerbait and use it for bait?
The one that just took a swipe at it off the bank up there could have eaten it. There he is. See there? Okay. He came back and got it again.
A crappie.
A crappie.
That's that same one that missed it a minute ago.
Same one. Exactly.
Look how big he is. Look how big he is. That is a dandy.
He hit it 3 times in the cast before.
There might be several of them down there. That's a nice crappie.
That's a big old fat crappie.
There's another one. I brought my crankbait through there. It's going to be another crappie, I bet you. Exact same. I picked up that little shallow smoothie, and got another.
Oh, that's a bass right there.
This is a crappie, and it's got a bass disguise on it.
That's it.
It's kind of like camo. You see, it's kind of like a real tree crappie bass design. This is really actually a crappie. He was right in the exact same place where Luke caught that crappie. Got to be a crappie. That was exactly, I threw right back there where because I thought, well, maybe there's several of them in there since you had one hit it, and just as soon as it got right in that spot, boom.
Right at the boat.
He hit right out here right out here under the boat, didn't he? By golly, you can catch one on a crankbait. I didn't know you knew I catch one on anything but spinnerbait.
That's it. Bottom lip.
Oh.
That's it.
Well,
Jimmy Houston Outdoors is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. By High Seas, when the money's on the line. By Jackson Kayak, Advantage Fisherman. By Orion Coolers, never lose your cool. And by Lucky Strike, where preparation and opportunity collide. Houston's Helpful Hints is brought to you by Jimmy Houston High-Tech Performance Fishing Rods.
you notice a lot of times when we're out here fishing that we fish several different baits, and that's just a day's fishing, you know. We've been doing these old shows for a long time, and basically it's just reality of what happens out there on the lake. And today was no different. We started out this morning, we had 4 or 5 baits tied on, a jig, a couple, 2 or 3 crankbaits, spinner bait, a little crawl on a little jig head, and didn't know really what was going to catch them on. And actually, we got catching fish really, really good on the spinnerbait, so we switched to a spinnerbait, and we both throwing spinnerbaits and caught them a lot. Ended up catching a lot of the fish, though, on a crankbait, this little American Original Deep Smoothie, or Shallow Smoothie. Bait only runs about 4 foot, but the amazing thing, and this happens a lot early in the spring, is that we caught the bigger fish out in deeper water, 18 to 24 to 30 foot water, with a bait that only runs about 4 foot deep. Now, when you get into this kind of fishing this time of the year and you're catching small fish up shallow, rest assured the girls are there. The big bass are there also. They're out a little bit deeper, and depending on the type of lake you're fishing, they may only be out in 1 foot or 2 foot deeper water, but they're out in front of where you're catching the males. Usually a lot of times that's right where you've got your boat parked and you're going down casting toward the bank or casting toward shallow water structure. So all you need to do is move out a little bit deeper. But when you have these days, these springtime days, it's going to get real nice and beautiful and warm like today did, yet the nights are cold, like it got to 35 degrees last night. Depending on where you live, 30, 35, 40 degrees, the nights are cold. The bass are not going to, the big bass are not going to, those females are not going to move shallow, but they will move up in the water column. So if you're fishing a jig or a bait down deep for these fish, you're going to just simply be fishing under them. Get you a bait that you can fish, and a spinnerbait's a good deal because you can fish at any depth, where you can fish it 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, 8 foot deep. But a crankbait is so easy because you get you one that'll run 4 or 5 foot, you're right into where those big fish are coming up in the water column, and you'll catch a lot of big fish that the other fishermen are going to fish completely over, under, around, and miss.
Well, it's late in the day and the sun's getting low. Caught me a big one, but I let it go. I sure had fun just watching him stretch my line.